Hey, what's up, y'all? Mr. Pool out here. So this video here is to help people figure out what to do, where to go, how to do it, to get your coronavirus tax relief check information given to the IRS if you don't normally file a tax return. So this is strictly for that. I'm not a tax professional, but just trying to show people where to go, how to do it, try to help them out. If they don't normally file their tax income returns, you don't have to file if your adjusted gross income is $12,200 or less. If you file single, if you would file single, and if you would be filing married and you all make less than $24,400 adjusted gross income, then you don't normally have to file. And this is for people that don't normally file their income taxes, and they're like, they've heard like, oh man, you've got to file your taxes in order to get your stimulus check, but you're like, oh man, I don't normally file, my income taxes, am I still going to get, tax return, am I still going to get a tax relief check? Yes, you will. If you make anybody that's 18 years or older and you're not a dependent and you've made less than $12,200, you will get a $1,200 stimulus check. So where do you go? How do you do it? I'm going to show you right now. So you come here to irs.gov, and this is the home screen that it brings you to. And where you need to go is right here, top left. It says non-filers, enter payment info here. So you click there, and this is only about a 10, maybe 15-minute process. So, just so you know beforehand. So this here is kind of like telling you who can do it, what do you need, blah, 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 can you do it? So again, yes, you need to be a U.S. citizen. You got to have a valid Social Security number, and you cannot make more than $12,200. And you also cannot be claimed as a dependent on another person's taxes. So you scroll down here, and you click enter payment info here. Don't worry about reading all this. Like I said, if you make less than $12,200, you did not file your taxes for 2019, and you don't plan to, you're good. So click right here. So this here is another kind of like firewall or like a checkpoint. One thing I will say, if you receive Social Security, railroad retirement, so SSDI benefits, the IRS will automatically send you an economic impact payment. If you've already filed your 2019 federal income tax returns, you're good. You don't have to do anything. This is basically just for people that have not filed in 2019 and they don't plan on filing. So now one thing that people might notice here is that it says the website is freefilefillableforms.com. So you're probably thinking, oh man, is this legit? I'm not at irs.gov anymore. They've partnered with Intuit, and this is a legit website, and it is partnered with the IRS. So if you're thinking, oh man, this looks fishy, I can see where you would think that, but this is the legit website that you would go to. So you click get started, and again, you're on this freefilefillableforms.com. So right here, you got to create an account. And to create an account, you need an email address. You put that in there, you confirm it here, and then you create a user ID. So the user ID, I would suggest, something that you've never used before, just whatever it is, just make up one strictly for this procedure here. And then it says your phone. So landlines can't get a text message. So this is basically, if you can't receive a text message, click right here, and to not verify, unclick that you can verify getting a text message. If you can't get a text message, it's going to make this process a whole lot smoother. A lot easier. I did it with a text message. So I'm not sure. I believe if you can't get a text message, they'll send you an email. So for here, we're going to just assume that you've got a cell phone number and you can do it. If not, put your phone number in. If you still got one, take it off that you can't get text messages, and then fill out the rest of the form. You click create an account. Now from here, it's going to take you to a screen that if you do have text message capabilities, it's going to take you to a screen that says they'll send you a text message with a verification code. On the next screen, that's where you put that verification code in. Also, at this point, you should receive an email address, and what they're wanting to do is verify your email address. So you want to do those two things. You want to verify your email address, and then you also want to put in that verification code to actually start the next process. And once you've verified your cell phone, then you will come to this screen here. And this here, so a lot of people are probably at this point are like, oh man, this looks like I'm going to have to fill out my tax returns and I don't have any information and it's going to get all crazy. And, probably some anxiety starting to come in and like, oh man, a lot of people is going to be like, hit this and just be like, I'm not going to do it. I don't have this information. Well, don't. Save yourself. Just don't get anxious over this part, because basically all this is I'll show you. You don't need any information. You just put in like your address and your name and stuff like that, social security number. Other than that, you don't have to fill out any more information. So I'll just go through it with you here. So we're going to do this as we're single. Filing status is single. If you're doing it married, you would click that. But for this, we're going to do single. Put your name in here, and then your middle initial and your last name, whatever it is. And then you come over here, you put your social security number in here. And now if you was doing the joint return, this is where you put in your spouse's name and information in there, but don't worry about that because we're doing it single. So you come down here, you put in your street address, number, and your street name. That's all you put in right here. Okay? And then if you have an apartment number, you put that in there. Then you come down here, you put in your city name. That's all you put in right here. I'm a pecker. I can't do that typing. Then you come over here, you put in your state, and you put in your zip code. You put in your zip code over here. And then, so people that's not used to filing tax returns, they're gonna be like, oh man, this is a foreign country name. This probably doesn't apply to you. It just shouldn't apply to you, basically, if you're filling it out and you're a U.S. citizen. So don't worry about that. Now here's another firewall protection type thing, like, it says, can someone claim you as a dependent or your spouse as a dependent? If you're filing single, you don't have to worry about anything that says spouse. Did someone claim you as a dependent this year on your taxes? If so, you are not eligible for the economic impact payment. So that's kind of like, if you were claimed as a dependent, you might as well stop now, because it's not going to do. You're not going to get it, and it's just, you're going to be denied. So now let's say if you got kids or dependents, you come in here, you put their first name, their last name, their social security number, and then their relationship to you. So they've got stuff on here like daughter, son, foster child, step, stuff like that. The weird thing is, like, they've got like stepsister, stepbrother, half sister, grandparents. If you do have dependents, I guess you would put those in, but for the economic stimulus package, if you have a dependent that's under 18, you will get an additional $500 per child, as long as they're your child and no one else has claimed them. So that's that there. And then so you come down here, and this is your banking information. So you put in your routing number here. If you don't know your routing number, you can call your bank or you can Google it. Just make sure that you've got the exact bank branch. But like I said, you can call your bank and get that. They're be happy to give you their routing number. And then you put in your account number here, and you click over here if it's checking or savings. So the thing with this is, if you do have a bank account, you'll get your refund. You'll get your stimulus check sooner. Whereas if you don't have a checking account or a savings account, just leave this blank and leave this blank here, and they'll send you a paper check. If you do have a bank account, you will get your your stimulus check sooner, because then they can just do a direct deposit. Now here's where we come to one of the many PINs that you might need to put in. This here is only, so if you don't know what your PIN number is, it means that you probably just don't have it. It says here that you need to put in your taxpayer identity protection PIN. So what that is, it says here, is if you or your spouse have experienced identity theft and the IRS sent you identity protection PINs, enter those PINs here to successfully file this return. If you don't have a PIN number, you probably never got one, and you don't need to worry about it. So if you do have a PIN, you put it in here. If you don't know of one, you probably just don't have one. So we can skip that process. So see, you're halfway done, and the first step was really painless. There wasn't no, like, oh man, what am I supposed to do? It's real easy if you just go through it step by step. So now we're going to go to step 2. And so at the top here, it says personal verification. So a lot of this is like mumbo jumbo if you've never filed a tax returns, up here at the top. And so basically what all this is saying here is, it's asking, did you file in 2018? And what was your adjusted gross income from your 2018 tax returns? If you didn't file, you just come here. You just come here and put 0 for last year's AGI. If you did file and you can't remember it, then you come here and you click on Get Transcript from the IRS. And they would send you your transcripts from last year, and it will give you the exact amount that you need to put in here. But it needs to be the exact amount, or it's going to, fling your application back out. So again, if you didn't file last year, put a 0. And this is just for 2018, this part right here. So then you come down here, and it says last year's AGI, or you enter in last year's self-selected signature PIN. If you do not remember your PIN, skip this step and follow the instructions in step A above up here. So again, this is one of those enter your PINs, and if you don't know your PIN, you probably didn't have a PIN. And it would have only been if you had filed from last year. So you put in 0 here, and then skip this down here because we're assuming that you didn't file last year. Okay, and then you'll come down here under where it says electronic signature. So you put in today's date, and I believe it's April 14th. You put in your cell phone number here. With no dashes, so you just put in, so you just put in your area code, and it automatically put in the dashes for you. And then here is where you choose your first PIN number. So this is where you do need to have a PIN. So you put in any number, any PIN number. It just can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it can't be 5 zeros. So you put in your PIN number there. And then you come down here, you put in your date of birth. And And then it says here, if you do not have a driver's license or state ID, you can leave E, F, and G blank. But you probably should have an ID, your papers, in case you're stopped. Some sort of identification helps. It's a whole different subject, but it'll make life way easier. So anyways, you put in your driver's license number here, and then you click on here and you put the state that it was issued from. And then you put in your driver's license or state issued ID date here. And then you put in your driver's license or state expiration date. So basically what that does is they're able to check real quick to make sure that your ID matches up with their database. So then you want to click on where it says continue to e-file. And you're basically done at that point. You'll get an email at that point that says that you've filed for your non-filer's application has been entered. Right then and there, you should get an email stating that that you did file your non-file application. And it'll tell you that within 24 to 48 hours, you'll get a response back saying if it was accepted. If it's not accepted, it should give you an error code and whatever you need to fix on your application. Otherwise, it'll say that you've been accepted and that you will receive further information within the next 24 to 48 hours. Then within the next 24 to 48 hours, you will receive another email stating that it was accepted fully, and that officially that it was accepted, and that you will be receiving your economic stimulus check sometime. Now again, if you had banking information, you'll get it sooner. If you didn't have banking information, you'll get a paper check in the mail. But you should be getting some sort of an email within the next couple weeks, maybe a month, as far as like when you will receive your stimulus check. But so that's all you had to do. Like I said, there wasn't no like high anxiety to it. I kind of was like, man, I don't have this information, I'm not going to be able to do it, blah, blah, blah. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave a comment down in the comment section, and I will respond to you and try to help you through whatever problems you got. And if you found this informative, give me a share, a like, and hit up and subscribe. I do a lot of things on this channel. This is kind of like my my one-stop shop for a bunch of stuff that I'm into. So I hope you all found this informative, and I'll talk to you all later.